Welcome to the Catholic Mom's Journey podcast, where faith meets the beautiful, messy, grace-filled life of motherhood. I'm Alyssamay, LaBanca.
And I'm Alexus, Escobar.
We're Catholic moms walking the same winding road, learning to love deeper, pray harder, and laugh often through the chaos.
Here we talk about the real stuff, faith in every day, finding God in laundry piles, and leaning into His mercy when life feels anything but perfect. Together, we'll discover how God's grace shows up in our homes, our hearts, and in our motherhood journey.
So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's walk this road of faith and beautiful, messy grace together.
Today, we're going to talk about how to handle conflict now versus before Catholic teaching.
I could just talk about like my quick experience before Jesus. No, before taking Catholic teaching seriously, I was very much involved with the gossip culture. It was always us talking about someone. And that was normal. I think a lot of women go through that where we're growing up and, you know, someone else is the center of attention. And then when that gets boring, we talk about somebody else. And so eventually, at least in my experience, it'll circle back to you and you become the topic of conversation. So I became the topic of conversation at some point. And I remember like when that happened to me, I couldn't understand I could not understand why these people were picking on me for this reason. And I remember just like wanting to prove a point and like fight back and be right about things. And then when I had no ground to stand on, I realized that there was nothing I could say or do to prove them wrong, I guess, or to get them to change their minds about me. And so that like the fighting back and the like going back and forth, I did not handle that very well. I was always super stressed out about it. And then like I would talk to other people about it. And it just became this cycle of exhausting gossip all around. And then after my conversion or my reversion, I then realized like, okay, this is not the type of friendship that I want to foster. I don't necessarily want to get rid of like my friends, who I do gossip with, because I gossip with all of them. But I then started kind of like redirecting conversations, right? Like conflicts would come up and I was always so tempted to like talk about somebody in my life, but then I would catch myself and redirect the conversation into something else and make it a little bit more constructive and focused on me and what I was interested in. And that it took time to refine that, but I mean, now I'm in a place where it's not even like a thought to get aggressive or want to, I guess, fight.
So do you feel like you were like more of a hothead?
Yeah.
Or like quick, you're more like ready to go, like ready to have that argument?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still very passionate. 'Cause I've always been very passionate whenever I talk. So when I would get angry, then I'd be like that girl running down the block.
I could see where like too, even if you were like your whole like when you talk, like you said, you're very passionate. So, and your voice is, I want to say, I don't want to be rude, but your voice is a lot louder than mine. So like when you get into an argument or something, I could see where like even if you're meaning it to come off stern, it probably almost sounds like you're yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certain people. There were certain people that I just like kept my mouth shut because I knew it wasn't worth it, or I felt inferior to somebody in the group. So I didn't want to like ruffle any feathers, but then I'd go and like talk about it to somebody else. Michael caught a lot of that.
Did he ever call you out on it?
No, he just kind of like, he would affirm me and say, yeah, no, I mean, what you're feeling is right. And it sucks, but he never corrected me or anything. He's never been that type of person. He just listens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's so gentle.
You're like complete opposite of me.
Complete opposite of me. And I'm like, no wonder people love you so much. No wonder I love you so much. So glad you married me.
For me, I wasn't so much like, I don't think I was quick to anger. I don't think I was the quick to anger sibling. I was more like the more sit back, and I observed people. I observed people because then I'm like, I know people. Then that way I can come into terms of like, I don't want to talk to that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to that person, and I already know. And a lot of that feeling was always correct for me. So it took a lot to anger me. But if somebody was talking about me, then I would be immediately like go up to them and confront them and have those. So it's funny because people would always be like, Alexus, I didn't realize like that came out of you. Like, what are you doing?
You're the quiet girl?
Yeah. I was always more like the quiet and observed and watched. And I knew if I wouldn't get along with them, I kept my distance. And then from there.
That's such a good skill to have.
Yeah.
I did not have that at all. I was always, because I have ADHD, so I bounce around like crazy. And so I just was going from thing to thing to thing and never observed. I didn't start observing until like a few years ago.
Really?
Around the time of my reversion, yeah, because I had to really be careful about what I was saying and what I was watching and listening to and the people I was surrounding myself with. That's when I really slowed down and was like, okay, I need to actually pay attention to what's going on and not just chase whatever was exciting.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's not to say that I didn't have any conflict. Like I said, especially like high school, you get people that talk about you or make stuff up. And so then like, that's when I would call somebody out. But I was always raised on like, you don't talk mess about somebody unless you're willing to say it to their face. That's what I grew up on. So then for me, you know, I wouldn't say there was times when I gossiped, obviously, in high school. I'm not perfect. But then as I got older and older, it was a lot more like I kind of kept to that. That's something I always held in my head. And I teach my kids that, like, you don't sit there and talk mess about somebody unless you're willing to say that same thing to their face. Mm-hmm. And I try to carry that on. I try. At least try.
You're doing it. You're doing good.
I don't know. I think conflict can be hard. Because, I mean, now, even after I've converted and I'm, you know, try to keep Jesus in my heart, I feel like there's, you know, I've had conflict between a couple people, but it's never like high school conflict, you know?
We're adults now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned that it's not age that you gain wisdom. It's your maturity level with how you've handled difficult situations in your life and the lessons that you allow yourself to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like what it is.
And see, with them, I just kind of, for me, I'll just distance myself. I just distance myself from them, and then it's like, I know there's always that type of like energy when you come into interactions, and I try not to, I don't want to be fake, and that's always been like my attitude. But I noticed like lately, even somebody else within my life, that it's just like anytime I come close into that interaction, I'm also like praying to myself like, God, lead me, God, please help me help me say the right thing, help me put one foot in front of the other, please. Like, I don't want the next thing to come out. I'm trying to do right. You know, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, especially when you get into a group that is just like, you know that, I guess that they also don't like that person and stuff. So then it's hard to not fall into wanting to say something. And it's hard for me to try to not say something. And yeah, it's a constant practice to try to be, you know, let God lead what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because on one hand, our flesh wants to like react. Mm-hmm. And then the other hand, we have to deny ourselves that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're called to do is to die to ourselves every day. It's going to happen until we die. So yeah, I mean, I like the way that you handle things. I mean, I feel like you've never really been, I know you said that you would confront people, right, when warranted, but I think that's what you should do. But it seems like throughout your life, you've been pretty good about handling conflict with your maturity level.
Yeah, with the maturity.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, I mean, when you're a teenager, you're going to act like a teenager. Maturity is not all there.
Right.
But I feel like I have a good grasp on it for the most part. And so it's now trying to teach the kids how to handle it, you know, especially, you know, because now they're learning, you know, coming into conflicts and stuff like that. So it's now trying to teach them on how to handle it and not make the same mistakes or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm constantly talking to my kindergartner about that. And she gets it, but she kind of like is like, oh, I don't want to hear this. But I mean, it's something we all go through, and we have to actually like experience it and then have someone to guide us. And that's where I'm like, okay, our kids are very blessed to have moms who are like taking this seriously, and we're not going to get it perfect every time. I don't know all the teachings, but I'm going to try to apply it and whatever I learn and teach it to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very reactive before the teachings, and now I've learned to just take that step back and do that thing, observe the situation. Someone has always had something to say about me, especially because I was online all the time. I posted a lot on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and I let my raw thoughts out. I'm a loud person, and I'm vocal. And so now I'm like, I don't do that. I don't post like that anymore because that conflict doesn't give me the high anymore to, I don't know, be right, defend myself, to prove that I'm right. I don't care anymore now that I've like rooted my identity in God. Since I'm a daughter of God, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. So with conflict now, whenever it arises, I just take a step back, and I'm busy enough already with the kids. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore. And if I need to address it, I will. I'm more of I like to write things out. So if I think it's appropriate, I'll text this person like my thoughts. And I've noticed that when I do that, it actually turns out really well. I used to like, my heart would race because I'm like, I don't want to upset this person, but I also need to tell them lovingly the truth. And I'm not going to make them feel bad about it, or like deliberately try to make them feel bad about it, but they need to hear it. I know it's going to sting a little bit. Recently I had an issue with somebody where, I guess I won't get into the details, but I sent them a long message, and I texted my best friend and a screenshot. I was like, is this okay to say? And she knows the whole situation. And she was like, yeah, actually this is very well worded and very, articulate and mature. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm doing better. I'm doing good. And this person did not respond to me, but they ended up liking the text like weeks later. And maybe they just kind of sat on it, had to digest it. And then they started texting me like normal. So there's no response, but it was like, I told them what I felt about the situation, and it seemed like they got it. So I'm no longer in the space where we have to, if this person wants to just move on, I'm okay with that. Let's move on. Right. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Do you ever feel like for me, I'm like a person that wants to get the conversation over with. Like if we have a conflict, like let's say me and you get into an argument or disagreement, then I'm the type of person that's like, I start analyzing everything that's being said. And after the conversation, I start analyzing everything what we said and trying to figure out, okay, what could I have done better? And then I'm like the person like, let's talk about it. Let's move past this.
The people within proximity and the level of friendship that we have, our relationship.
It would depend.
Right. So like Michael, I can't go to bed if there's a disagreement or a conflict, or
The same.
we have to resolve it. And you know, there's certain friends I don't see for, you know, maybe see them once a quarter, which is fine because we live totally different lives, but we come together, we love each other. If there's a conflict, like typically one of us will text each other within, I don't know, a week or something. It usually doesn't go past that. At this point in my life, with how I've kind of, I don't know what the word is, curated. I've curated my friendship circles, right? We don't go too long without addressing it. And a lot of the times, because I have so much peace now, like when there is a conflict, I don't sit on it for too long. It does cross my mind. And then when the time is right and I think about it again, I'm like, okay, maybe I should say something. Or they end up texting me.
I think I run into situations where I want to get through that. I want to move past it. And then I feel like that starts a conflict too, because they're not ready to move past it.
So that's something I'm a natural at that part where I kind of let the time go. And when we come to that resolution, or we're trying to find a resolution, it just kind of naturally flows that way. I guess I would say when you have that urge to want to fix it right away.
I think that's what it is. I want to fix it and fix things, and I don't want to, especially with people that I love. I don't ever want that there's to be something there, and for it to carry on for like years and years and years. You know, I'm more of like, let's fix it right away. And same with like with Omar, I'm like, let's figure this out. We need to do it before we go to bed. You know, and I think it's just hard. I think, like you said, it depends on the person, you know? If it's somebody that's close to us, then I want to try to fix it. But then I feel like Omar's good at that, giving people space. And he waits till they're ready to come to them. And as to me, I'm like texting them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I used
like the next day.
I used to be like that, like, let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
But I think it just naturally with where I am in life, like I already have my obligations, so that I think just naturally pulls me, like recenters me. As uncomfortable as it is, just give it time. Because I mean, even now, like there is someone in my life where we had a major conflict a few years ago, and we still haven't talked about it. And I can't.
Had one of those.
Yeah, I can't explain it well, but I do know that there needs to be a level of maturing and understanding on their part, and I can see it happening. I can tell, but I also know that I feel like the ball's in my court too, right? Like I have to be willing to bring it up out of the blue, because it's been a while. And I did tell this person, hey, we're going to talk about this, but right now is not a good time. Because when I had said that, I was in a really bad headspace. So, and they understood. But now I think, now that I'm really thinking about it, I think they might be ready. And I think we just need to have a mediator with the conflict that we did have. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure many of us have that, a relationship like that. And it's harder when it's somebody that you can't exactly get rid of. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of them, and you can't just say, oh, I'm done with you, delete you from my life. That's it. And
that's what the world tells us to do, is to block, cut off, bad vibes, bad energy out of your life. Only collect the people that make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not what God wants us to do. He wants us to go through that obstacle. Now, obviously, if there's someone in your life that's abusing you, right, that's different.
So from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 through 27, be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not make room for the devil. And I just thought that was a good verse for what we're talking about now, because I mean, conflict is never going to go away, and if anything, the more you come to Christ, I feel like you run into more conflicts that are going to test you and want to force you to sin, whether it's to gossip about that person or to have it out with them. And that's where, the devil wants us to cave into those things, and for us to start distancing ourselves from God.
So these footnotes in the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, be angry, but do not sin. Not all anger is sinful or harmful. Righteous indignation is an appropriate response to offenses committed against God. In the case of personal insults, we should strive for reconciliation with the offender before the day's end. Oh, so God tells us to do it before the day's end. We could talk about that. Otherwise, the rift will begin to widen as resentment, bitterness, and hatred consume us. Paul is alluding to Psalms 4:4, where the psalmist calls us to examine our hearts in silence before going to bed. So this is interesting because we just talked about giving people the space, how me and Omar will kind of let time go on before we address it.
Wait, you and Omar?
No, yeah, because you said that Omar's really good.
I thought you were saying you and Omar. I was like, wait, thank you. I thought you meant to say
sorry.
Michael.
I have my own husband.
I thought you meant to say Michael, but you were looking at me.
No. Yeah, so me and your husband are good at just kind of letting things simmer down. So I'm curious about that because, is that a nuance? Let me truthfully this. What are your thoughts?
For what?
Ephesians 4, what was it, 26 to 27?
Yeah.
Do not sin in your anger. Do not let the day be finished before reconciling.
What's a good thing to know too? As Catholics, we are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So please give yourself grace in that. And if you fall short in that conversation that you had with this person, or you feel like you maybe are still holding on to something, pray about it. One relationship that was really hard, I was able to slowly start talking again and having conversations again. And so it's nice. There's been a lot of prayer on that relationship. And I know that you've been praying too for us in that relationship. Oh, and then also as Catholics, if you do end up yelling or swearing or whatever it may be, and you regret it, that's where reconciliation comes into play.
And it reveals something about yourself. And I fall
Yeah.
with that. I'm a lot better than I was 10 years ago, a few years ago, but that's the whole point. We examine ourselves, and we keep people around us that are also holding themselves accountable and hopefully holding us accountable. So yeah, when we do fall to that sin, when we let our anger get to us so bad that we have venom coming out of our mouths, that one reveals something about us, that maybe there's something there that we have not addressed and that we need to, and also shows a lack of discipline, I guess. I don't know if there's a better way to word that, but yeah. I went on Truthfully. It's a Catholic AI app, and it's the way that Matt Fradd describes it is if you took AI and you baptized it, put it through OCIA, and I think it draws from the Catechism and the Magisterium, Scripture, obviously, but I like that it's Catholic. That way, I am making sure that I get the full picture. Hi, editing Alyssamay here, and I just wanted to say that with any AI, even a Catholic one, you always want to make sure that you double, triple check your sources. Magisterium, Catechism, Scripture, because AI can get it wrong. In this episode specifically, I mean, in future episodes too probably, we're going to be looking up things real time, and we always want to follow up with that and make sure that we're actually getting things right. If we get something wrong, correct us. Totally fine. We should be correcting each other. Iron sharpens iron. So I typed Ephesians 4:26-27. Do not sin in your anger. Do not let the day be finished before reconciling. Mm-hmm. Is it okay to let conflict settle down for a few days or weeks before reconciling, as long as I don't stay angry? And this says, the passage cuts to the heart of how Christians should handle conflict, and it deserves careful consideration. The text reads, be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun set on your anger, and do not make room for the devil. Paul isn't saying anger itself is sinful. Righteous anger at injustice exists throughout Scripture, like Jesus flipping tables. Mm-hmm. Rather, he's warning against harboring anger, which creates spiritual danger. So like grudges. Mm-hmm. I know people who've held grudges for years. I actually just saw someone who's been holding a grudge against me for years.
Oh, against you?
Yes, I can tell she has it. But I was very kind to her, and she knows that. She knows that I'm kind, but she probably assumes that I'm still gossipy. But what can I do? The key phrase is, do not let the sun set on your anger. This is a command about the disposition of the heart, not merely about the passage of time. The concern isn't a calendar. It's that unresolved anger becomes a foothold for the enemy. When anger festers, it hardens into resentment, bitterness, and pride. That's when the devil gains leverage. Yeah, I don't stay angry for very long anymore. I don't really. It's actually hard to get me angry because I'm so peaceful now.
I would say the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that would get me angry, I would think, is like, what I can think of is like this person was talking about, about certain family members and stuff like that. So that made me angry. But then it was just like, also like, it just took me again. I was just praying on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, help guide me when I see this person to not say the wrong things, to keep cordial and do good.
I think what helped me is therapy.
It's so hard.
Years of therapy, because I was always constantly like thinking about what the other person thought. I needed that approval. Mm. I am a recovered people pleaser, so
people pleaser.
I no longer choose to please people. I please God. So yeah, what was I saying?
But that's helped you with.
Okay. So like what you just said, how something that could make you angry is someone talking about like a family member or something, right? So I've realized now that when people have like a thought and that they say out loud that they shouldn't, like that, that's a reflection of what's inside them, not of what's actually true. So in my mind, I'm able to separate out now, like, is this true? Or is this just their feelings and they're trying to get a rise out of me? Once I separate that, like, I think through it, I'm like, okay, it's not true. It's just simply not true. And there's no point in me fighting fire with fire and trying to prove a point, because then I just get hurt and I'm spending my time and precious energy on that. Here's the critical distinction. Waiting a few days while actively working toward reconciliation is different from letting conflict settle while avoiding it. So yeah, it's the avoidance and letting the anger, like sleeping on your anger. Yeah, you don't want to let that build. You don't want to hold the grudge. If you're genuinely not angry anymore, but simply waiting for the right moment to approach someone with humility and clarity, that's prudent. Oh, cool. If you're postponing reconciliation indefinitely, even if you've stopped feeling angry, you may be nursing a quiet resentment that distances you from grace. And that's kind of how I feel like now with that situation I was talking about. Like, the anger has settled and the conflict is like farther in the past now, and I think I just need to just like say, hey, let's talk about this with someone present.
Yeah.
The spirit of Paul's command is prompt reconciliation paired with genuine peace. Sometimes that means speaking today. Sometimes it means calming down enough to speak charitably tomorrow, but it should never mean indefinite avoidance, even of the peaceful kind. Ask yourself honestly, am I delaying reconciliation because I'm genuinely working toward it with humility, or because I'm avoiding the vulnerability and humility that true reconciliation requires?
Oh, I like that ending part, because I think that's the part that always gets people, I feel like, is because if it's a wronging on your end and coming forward and admitting it, that's a hard part.
Yeah. Pride. You gotta let that pride down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely hard.
I was stuck there for a while. Like, I need you to know that you hurt me really, really bad, and I need you to say sorry. And that stopped me from like wanting that true reconciliation. But now that we're talking about it, like I'm opening up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to admit that, because, I mean, we don't want to be prideful. It's really hard to not be, especially growing up in a world like this.
Yeah. I think if anything, like, if I didn't say now, I feel like if I didn't say sorry, it would be like, because I'm not fully, not because I don't want to say sorry, or not because I don't want to say sorry, or I'm angry or something like that. I think it's more like not realizing that maybe there was something I hurt them in some type of way, or the way I said something. I feel like with our kids, I feel like being apologetic. Is that right? Being apologetic. I'm like, what am I saying? Being, and teaching them, I feel like they also helped me know, because I want to be that example. So like, even from having, getting so frustrated one day and getting angry. I remember getting angry at my mom and just wasn't mad at her. I was just having a whole attitude with her. Yeah. So then now I'm like, and then later on I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I had attitude.
That's very mature of you. Very mature.
And I remember my son was just like, wait, why are you sorry? Why are you sorry? You didn't do anything. I was like, no, I did. I did. You just weren't in the car yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a conflict with a family member, and this was right after my reversion. I hope they're not listening to this. I don't even remember what the situation was, or like why we were angry at each other, but we started like raising our voices over the phone. Sorry. I remember being up in my room and I had my phone on speaker and I threw it on the bed and I was like, Lord, please open up her mind so that she can see what I'm saying. And she's like, I'm leaving. Bye. So then I ended up texting her and I was like, look, I just really want to spend time with you. That's all I wanted. And I'm sorry that I yelled, but I felt like I needed to. And I just like was going on this whole rant. And she never responded, didn't even like the thing. And then a few weeks later, she came over and we were just hanging out. It's like, okay, whatever. I said my piece. I know she's sorry too. She just didn't say it. So we just moved on.
Yeah.
I called on God to open up her mind. And I said it to her. Michael was like, you probably shouldn't have said that. Like
over the phone while you're on it.
It's like James and John. You watched The Chosen, right?
Yeah.
When the Samaritans came and they're like, come on, call down like thunder, lightning. Come on.
Yeah.
Sons of Thunder. Yeah, that's me. I'm a daughter of thunder.
That's funny.
She's definitely listening to this.
You're going to get a text.
She's probably not even going to address it. That's kind of like how our relationship is. Like when there is a conflict, I mean, I'm a lot better now, obviously, but like growing up when there is a conflict, like it would pretty much go like this, where I'd like yell about whatever it was I was feeling. And then I wasn't very good at saying sorry, but I would like try to say sorry obliquely. And then it was fine. It's not the healthiest way to do it, but no, we rarely run into conflicts now. I think it's because like now with the church teachings, like I don't even get to the point of conflict most of the time now. There's not a lot of conflict in my life, honestly. Most of the conflict that I think about is all in the past with people that I don't even talk to anymore. It just kind of occasionally comes up. I just want to touch real quick on conflict with the kids. So my kids are young. You have a little bit older kids, or well, your ranges, right?
Yeah.
Preteen to infant. But all my kids are very close in age, and the oldest is 7, so they're still like very much in that little kid phase of conflict. So I'm still trying to teach them how to calm themselves down. They're getting a lot better at that. Like I taught them a breathing technique and calm themselves down, and then like I have to blatantly say this is the emotion you're feeling and this is the problem. We have to separate those two. And in the moment it's really hard because it's really intense.
I was gonna say
so
that
many
sounds
of
really
them.
good though. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah,
it's just so hard because they're yeah. I mean, you got the preteen all the way down to, well, the baby doesn't obviously start conflict, but then you have the 2-year-old.
Yeah,
And even with the 2-year-old, there's conflict.
I always tell the older ones, the 6 and 7-year-old, like whenever the little one, he's 2, whenever he gets kind of crazy, his brain is still very little, and you were like that too. So they've actually been very good lately. Like whenever there is a conflict with him, they resolve it pretty quick. It is worth figuring out the conflict in real time. The challenge is regulating myself first, because I get overwhelmed with how many voices and how loud it is. We're a very loud family.
Yeah.
Like I get overwhelmed. But so once I do calm myself down and I'm able to think, okay, like what is important in this moment? And that's teaching them like, okay, regulate yourself, go take a second. We're going to talk about it. Now let's talk about the conflict and then your emotion. Separate the two. How can we do this better moving forward?
Yeah.
Yep.
I did like a complete extreme with my kids a couple weeks ago. Maybe not even a couple weeks ago. I was just done. I was fed up. I was so done and fed up with them.
Okay. So I need to hear about your kids.
Okay.
Sorry, we had a technical issue and we're back.
So I was just done. They were arguing, they were fighting, they were just like having attitudes with me, attitudes with each other. And I just was like, you know what? I'm done. And I went into full, like, I would say almost like depressed mode. I would say like a depressed mode. And I was just like, okay, is that what you want? Okay, I'll do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you do this for me? Oh, you can't? Okay, that's fine. If it's not too hard for you, can you feed the dog? And like I was talking to in that tone too with them. And they were like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Mom? And I was like, I'm just done. I'm done. I was like that. I was like, I am tired of all the arguing. I am tired of me yelling. I'm repeating myself every day, the same thing. I am just done. She's like, Mom, you can't go to bed angry. Mom, that's not good. You can't do that. And I'm just like, I'm not angry. I'm just done. I'm just done with the conversations. I'm done with the yelling. I'm done with you guys arguing. I'm done. And so
it scared them.
Because even it followed into like the next morning, and the next morning they started to argue just a little bit. And so then I went back to that tone. And they were getting ready. I felt like they were like, probably like, I broke Mom.
I prefer when she's yelling at me.
Yeah, because then they were like, okay, doing everything. They didn't fight about the seats. They all moved to where they needed to go. I was like, okay. I was like, apparently broken Mom did something.
Yeah, I'm gonna store that.
Yeah. But it was funny because I was just like, after I noticed them starting to be like behave or like kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I was trying not to laugh during the time, and I just kept up with it.
Wow.
It probably did scare them a little bit, but they did
I mean,
straighten
it
up.
got the message through, and you didn't even have to yell.
Oh no, I just depressed Mommy. It's like the robot that ran out of battery and just like,
Yeah. You know what? I do this thing now because I used to yell a lot because they just don't listen. Mm-hmm. Where are your shoes? I told you to put them on like 5 times before, so now I'm gonna yell. Now I do this thing where I will give them a few times where I say it nicely and calmly. Mm-hmm. And then I'll warn them. And that's when they actually go do it. So I'll say, I've told you 3 times to put on your socks and shoes. Now I'm going to yell. Or no, I'm going to say it one more time nicely. Go put on your socks and shoes. And if you don't, I will yell.
Ooh, you got those eyes.
Instantly. They're... I don't know why it works, but it does. And I don't even have to raise my voice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think those are the big times. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still yell, but it's after I like already tell them the first couple times nicely.
Try that thing.
And I told them already. I'm like, they're like, why are you yelling? I'm like, because did I not just ask you the past 2 times nicely? Did I not just say that? And so it's like going into those conflicts with them. But I do apologize. Like when especially like if we're like arguing or we're all arguing on the way to the car before they get into to be able to go to school. I'm like, I have that mom guilt and I don't want them to go to school with anger and me being angry and we leave on that note, especially nowadays. Like I don't ever want them to go in school with us leaving on that note.
Right. And
so then I'll apologize to them and stuff like that. Or even like this morning we did a prayer. I'm like, Heavenly Father, I pray that you can help all of us to be able to choose our words nicely. And because we were all angry, we were all saying mean things to each other. And so I kind of turn it into like bringing prayer into there. And then also once I get done saying sorry, and I'll open it up. Does anybody else have anything else to say sorry about? And then usually like one at a time, they all each start saying sorry about different things.
I like that.
Yeah.
I usually say by the time we get to the drop-off line, I usually say, okay, can we restart? And they all say yes. And then I say, I'm sorry for yelling, or I'm sorry for letting myself get so angry that I yelled at you. But for the future, to avoid that, just listen to me when I talk nicely. And then they're like, okay, Mom. That's usually how the conversation goes.
Yeah.
And then I'll like reach my hand back and squeeze their hands and say, okay, have a good day. Remember to be kind. And if anyone needs help, be there for them. Just kind of go through that routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's been less lately. Definitely did it a lot like last year, but we were getting used to it.
That was a very good conversation.
That was a very good conversation. Yes. Thank you for having it with me. I appreciate your time.
Yes. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
And YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Drop that subscribe.
Share this with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to come up with a real outro.
A real exit.
Yeah. Yeah.